To manufacture a modern microchip, engineers project a pattern through a mask onto a silicon wafer. For years, the industry used deep ultraviolet light at 193 nanometers to draw these circuits. But as transistor features shrank below 30 nanometers, the light waves began to diffract and smear, physically unable to resolve the finer gaps. This limitation is governed by the Rayleigh criterion. The mathematics dictate that if you want to print smaller features, you must use a light source with a significantly smaller wavelength. The industry responded with a massive leap down the electromagnetic spectrum to extreme ultraviolet, or EUV light, which operates at exactly 13.5 nanometers. While 13.5 nanometers allows for incredible precision, this wavelength is highly energetic and immediately absorbed by almost all matter. It cannot pass through standard glass lenses, and it is even absorbed by the air. Extending Moore's law beyond this point required engineers to find a way to control a wavelength of light that effectively refuses to be guided. The only system capable of harnessing this physics is ASML's Twinscan EUV machine. It acts as a specialized tool for 13.5 nanometer light, drawing patterns that would be impossible with any other technology. To function, the machine must operate entirely within an ultra-high vacuum and generate plasma hotter than the sun. Because glass lenses absorb the light, classical optics had to be abandoned. The system relies exclusively on a sequence of highly specialized mirrors to bounce the light to its target. A single Twinscan unit costs $300 million. These machines are the specific hurdle that chipmakers must clear to produce next-generation processors for artificial intelligence. ASML's position as a monopoly was built by constructing a supply chain capable of making 13.5 nanometer plasma industrially repeatable. The process begins inside an ultra-high vacuum chamber where the EUV light is generated. A generator fires microscopic droplets of molten tin into the chamber at 50,000 hertz. As they fall, a pre-pulse from a carbon dioxide laser strikes them. This initial hit doesn't vaporize the tin, it flattens it into a disk, increasing its surface area. A second, higher power laser pulse then strikes the flattened droplet with megawatt peak power, vaporizing the metal instantly. This ionization creates a 220,000-degree plasma, which finally emits the 13.5 nanometer radiation required for exposure. Generating the light is the first step, but directing a wavelength that wants to be absorbed by everything is a much harder optical challenge. Since traditional lenses are useless, the system uses a specialized array of mirrors to guide the photons. These are Zeiss Bragg reflectors, constructed from alternating layers of molybdenum and silicon. They allow the light to reflect through constructive interference rather than passing through glass. Despite their precision, each reflection absorbs roughly 30% of the incident EUV light. To maintain image quality through several bounces, the mirrors must be almost perfectly smooth. Optical errors must be kept within 1/50th of the wavelength. This means surface deviations cannot exceed 53 picometers, which is approximately the radius of a single hydrogen atom. A collector mirror gathers the plasma's light and focuses it towards a reflective photomask, which contains the original blueprint for the chip. After bouncing off the mask, the light passes through a final projection optics block, shrinking the pattern 4 times before hitting the silicon wafer. There is a common misconception that the EUV light carves the transistor pattern directly into the silicon. In reality, the photons strike a chemical photoresist and eject secondary electrons. It is the cascading energy from these electrons that actually triggers the chemical reaction needed to form the pattern. The final result of this process is the microscopic iridescent grid pattern visible on the surface of the physical wafer. To reach even higher resolutions, ASML is now increasing the numerical aperture, or NA, from 0.33 to 0.55. This diagram shows the trade-off. As the numerical aperture increases, the depth of focus decreases by the square of that change. The window where the pattern stays in sharp focus becomes incredibly narrow. This shallow focal window forces engineers to use photoresists less than 20 nanometers thick to prevent the printed features from collapsing. Using such thin photoresists exposes the entire manufacturing process to a volatile statistical phenomenon known as shot noise. Because EUV photons are highly energetic, it takes very few to deliver the necessary dose, leading to a sparse, random distribution across the resist. This statistical variation causes electron blur, resulting in missing holes or bridging lines that ruin batches of chips. Successfully scaling to high NA requires the industry to manage quantum-level statistical variations to print functional transistors. Managing the physics of 13.5 nanometer light proved too complex for any single corporation to handle alone. In the early 2000s, Canon and Nikon attempted to stay vertically integrated, developing the optics, lasers, and mechatronics entirely in-house. The exponential research costs required for EUV physics began buckling this model. The financial risk was too high for a single company to carry. ASML took the opposite approach, acting as a systems integrator rather than a monolithic manufacturer. They outsourced the most difficult components to Apex specialists, using Zeiss for optics and Trump for lasers, because those companies were the only ones capable of hitting 53 picometer tolerances. ASML then locked these suppliers into an exclusive ecosystem, ensuring that competitors could not source the same parts. Nikon and Canon didn't just lose a technical race, they were outmaneuvered in a global supply chain war they weren't structured to win. Despite their success, the cost of commercializing EUV had brought ASML close to insolvency by 2012. To address this, ASML launched the Customer Co-Investment Program, allowing their largest users to take a direct stake in the technology's survival. ASML shifted the research risk to their customers. Intel, TSMC, and Samsung injected billions of dollars into ASML in exchange for 23% of the company. This move didn't just fund the research, it incentivized the world's largest chip makers to adopt ASML's architecture to protect their own equity. The final version of the Twinscan scanner is a modular system of over 100,000 parts that serves as the unavoidable checkpoint for all modern computing. While scientific understanding was the starting point, ASML's monopoly was finalized through an industrial ecosystem that rivals cannot economically or physically reproduce.